As iOS keeps evolving, the big question isn't really what's the next groundbreaking thing anymore. It's more like, how can Apple make the amazing experience we already have even better? So today, we're going to dive into a wish list, 10 crucial features that users and tech experts are really hoping to see in a future version of iOS. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. We've grouped these 10 features into 3 core ideas. First up, we're talking about fixing the very foundation of the OS. Then, we'll get into giving you, the user, way more control. And finally, we'll look at some features that could unlock the iPhone's real pro-level power. All right, first things first. Before we can even dream about flashy new features, we have to talk about the foundation. Honestly, the number one request is super simple. Just make iOS as stable and reliable as it used to be. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. For so long, the iPhone's biggest selling point was that it just worked flawlessly. But lately, there's this feeling that that legendary stability is starting to slip a little. And this frustration, it seems to bubble up in 3 main places. We're talking about those annoying system-wide bugs, like when animations stutter when you swipe home. Then there's the keyboard, which, I don't know, it just feels less accurate for a lot of people, leading to constant typos and lag. And then you have the Photos app, which can feel clunky and has a tendency to just freeze. And look, this isn't some rare one-in-a-million glitch. We're talking about doing something as basic as sharing a photo, and it completely locks up the app, forcing you to kill it and start over. This is exactly the kind of fundamental problem that users want fixed above everything else. So let's move on. Once that foundation is solid again, the next big thing people are asking for is more granular control over their everyday iPhone experience. It's about making your iPhone feel like your iPhone. Apple's already given us a taste of this on the lock screen, right? You can adjust that blur effect. So it just makes sense to take this concept and apply it everywhere. Imagine a simple slider in settings to control that liquid glass translucency across the entire system. That would be a huge win for personalization. Okay, this one is a big deal, and something people on other platforms have had forever. Just think about it. You're driving, you've got music playing, and you're using Maps. You want your navigation prompts to be loud and clear, but maybe the music to be a bit quieter. The idea is so simple. Get rid of the one-size-fits-all volume and give us separate sliders for different audio sources. And hey, that theme of control definitely extends to how your audio sounds. Right now, Apple gives you a list of presets like rock or bass booster, but for anyone who really cares about their audio, the dream is a real manual graphic equalizer, so you can tweak the sound exactly how you like it. I know this one might sound like a small thing, but trust me, it's a massive quality of life improvement. Just giving us the option for a dedicated number row right on the main keyboard, it saves a tap every single time you need to type a number. It's all about making things quicker and more seamless. The current battery menu, it's fine, but it's missing the one stat most of us actually want to see. How much screen on time have I gotten since my last full charge? We need to see usage since we unplugged at 100%, not just a rolling 24-hour graph. And while we're there, why not let us customize what low power mode actually turns off? All right, for our final category, let's get into the heavy hitter stuff. We're talking about features that could elevate the iPhone from just being an amazing phone into a legit professional tool for power users. Come on, we've all been there. You copy your username, switch apps, paste it. Then you have to switch back, copy the password, and switch again. With a system-wide clipboard history, you could copy the username, then the password, and then just paste them one after the other. It's a game changer that would save so much time. This next one really just boils down to a simple question. Why can an iPad run 2 apps side by side, but the most powerful, top-of-the-line iPhones can't? I mean, with these huge, beautiful screens and monster processors, it's starting to feel like an intentional limitation. This would completely change how people use their iPhones for getting work done. Just imagine having a web page open right next to your notes, or looking at a map while you're texting a friend the address. This is true multitasking, and it would make the iPhone so much more of a productivity powerhouse. Now, before anyone panics, nobody is saying get rid of the simple point-and-shoot camera we all know and love. This isn't about changing that at all. It's about adding a pro mode for enthusiasts who want it. Imagine having direct control over things like shutter speed for motion blur or ISO for tricky lighting, all there in the main camera app. That's the creative freedom people are asking for. So we've gone through a lot here, from tiny bug fixes all the way to major pro-level features. But if you take a step back and look at all 10 of these requests together, you start to see a bigger story emerge. They aren't just a random wish list, they're all pointing in the same direction. And that story is all about maturity. It seems like users aren't begging for a massive revolution anymore. They're asking for evolution. They want the iPhone to be more stable, more customizable, and more powerful, refining the fantastic experience they already know and love. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As Apple slowly adds these kinds of features, is this just the new face of innovation for a mature product? Or is it a sign that the company is finally playing catch-up